We provide a professional customized consulting service for device by international market, and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers, and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer's teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, we aim to improve the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, Inquin is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that required manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, equipment life, and the repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator with a partner in the market for our customers.
What's one of the main drivers of change in the manufacturing industry? It's us, consumers. 63% of us want to have new products faster. 94% regularly search for alternatives. 61% of us are willing to pay more for higher quality. 74% have become more price sensitive. Another 60% want more sustainability. Consumers can configure and order virtually anything online at the touch of a button. New products, faster, more personalized. Companies all over the world are challenged to keep up. From personalized products to mass-producing one-off items with consistently high quality and speed, today's consumers are looking for a tailored experience from companies who are engaged socially, environmentally, and deliver more than just a product. To make it happen with precision and agility, a company must get product development, automated production processes, and digitalization to work hand in hand. Companies need a true digital enterprise. Only by combining processing, using and continuously optimizing virtual and actual information can you come up with something new, something better, and make consumers' individual dreams a reality. Siemens Digital Industries Software, where today meets tomorrow.
We provide a professional customized consulting service for device by international market, and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers, and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer's teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, we aim to improve the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, Inquin is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that required manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, equipment life, and the repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator with a partner in the market for our customers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our virtual conference today. The event will start it within 1 minute. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Jack Chen. I'll be the host for today's event. Before the event started, please welcome, say hi to me in the chat box, and also tell me where you're from. I really want to see that everybody networking and making new friends today. And importantly, let's try the best, make business happen. I'll see you guys later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone. Welcome to the Asian Flexible Plastic Packaging Manufacturing Summit 2022. I'm Jack, your host for today's event. I'd like to welcome our participants, guest speakers, and presenters today. We hope that your presence in the summit will be productive and that you will learn a lot from our expert speakers and your fellow participants today. Today's summit looks at the flexible packaging manufacturing, an important sector of the plastics industry. An estimate by Markets and Markets shows that the global packaging market is projected to grow by 4.5% annually to reach $200.5 billion by 2025. This is due to the rising demand in end-use industries such as food, beverage, cosmetic, and personal care, and also pharmaceuticals. The Asia Pacific region accounts for the biggest share for the global flexible packaging. That's why we have the event today. As countries move forward post-pandemic, the flexible packaging sector is projected to continue to supply fast-growing demands. In this scenario, the plastic industry is also expected to support flexible packaging production through more advanced production technologies and innovative materials. But there are also issues being faced by flexible packaging producers, and one of them is the growing preference for environment-friendly packaging. So, today, as we listen to our expert speakers, we will also be able to see the trends in the flexible packaging market and how the latest technologies and materials will affect the properties of flexible packaging and profitability of packaging producers. But before we move on, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our business partners. We have Dean Kun Plastic Machinery Company Limited, a reliable customized extrusion solutions provider since 1981, combining technical expertise, innovative design, and feedback from clients' production experience make Dean Kun's leading position in the field of plastic extrusion. Also, we would like to thank Siemens. The Siemens digital industry software is driving transformation to enable digital enterprise where engineering, manufacturing, and electronic design meet tomorrow. Learn more about Siemens virtual product design and solution tools and how they can assist consumer product packaging designers in overcoming today's challenges. You can download the ebook sustainable packaging solutions, an emerging need from this platform under the exhibition booth area on your left-hand side right now, under the booth area. So seize your time, take a look at those ebook. By the way, if you download the ebook fast enough within the first 50 people, you will also learn our prize today. I will announce them later. Also, we would like to thank our partner association, the Malaysia Plastics Recyclers Association, as officers and member. This summit is also supported by our media partners, Packaging World, the flagship title of PMMI Media Group, International Plastics News for Asia and Food Pacific Manufacturing Journal, a Ringer trade media publications. Okay, let me give you a rundown of today's agenda. As you can see, we have two sessions today. In the upper session, which is before the networking sessions and booth visit session, we have two speakers from Aeroflex and also Colliers. And the next lower session is Milliken and Uflex. And during the networking session, I will show you how to visit their booths and have networking function. The most importantly, I would like to remind everybody is that, remember, we have a live Q&A session after each speaker's presentation. And those speakers will be there, answer your questions online. So listen very carefully to their presentations and prepare your questions to them, so you can face-to-face talk to the speakers and learn from our experts today. Let me introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker for today will provide an overview on the latest innovations in flexible packaging solutions, with focus on the drivers and trends creating the greatest packaging shift in modern time and how this will impact the entire consumer packaging industry for decades to come. Let's all welcome the President and CEO of Aeroflex Technologies, Mr. Dennis Calamusa. Mr. Dennis Calamusa, you may have the floor now. And delegates and dear attendees, don't forget to prepare your questions. I'll see you guys later.
Hello, this is Dennis Calamusa with Aeroflex Technologies. I'm here to present the repackaging of America, the inevitable shift toward innovative flexible packaging. First, a little bit of Aeroflex. Aeroflex is a unique company because we're providing packaging machinery solutions to the food, beverage, and personal care industries. Our technologies are varied, so we do machines for filling pre-made pouches, form fill seal, spouted pouches, a variety of different technologies, and we do bags from small sizes, medium sizes, and large sizes. And as you'll see, those sizes are relevant to a whole variety of different industries. As a packaging machinery supplier, we have a unique perspective because we're working closely with the supply chain, the converters who produce packaging materials, the closures, spout companies, as well as the food companies that are utilizing our equipment and personal care and non-food applications as well. Traditional package in recent years really has become challenged by the flexible packaging industry. If we look at these brands that are packaged traditionally in plastic bottles, glass bottles, or rigid containers, we certainly can see brands that are already adapting flexible packaging as an alternative to these traditional legacy packaging formats. So why is this transformation of packaging occurring? There's a number of reasons, and let's just review some of those. Growth in new value-added product introductions and new market outlets are creating change. Packaging change and packaging choice is disrupting mature product categories. Another interesting phenomenon we're seeing is new product, new packaging, existing product, new packaging. So packaging is really being used as a strategic tool to grow business and also successfully introduce new product applications to the market. The days of using the same old packaging to introduce a new product isn't really giving that new product the kind of visibility that these food companies and these consumer product companies would like to see. So they're starting to realize that a new product introduced with a new packaging format really helps to get that product recognized in the market. So on the retail shelf, it's getting the consumer's attention. And another interesting phenomenon, existing product, new packaging. So in other words, taking an existing product that has perhaps been around for many, many years, introducing it in new packaging format is also selling more of what's inside. And that's really an important feature today with using packaging as a strategic tool. Another interesting area is the cost reduction category. We're seeing a lot of cost reduction incentives that are driving packaging chains throughout the entire packaging process. Companies are looking at reducing packaging costs, material-wise, logistics, transportation, looking to automation, and obviously right down to the distribution of their products. And then we have the environmental concerns driving innovation and sustainability goals. Companies are becoming more sensitized by a different demographic of consumer who's becoming more concerned with the global aspect of packaging and packaging waste. So really, let's just talk for a minute about here the impact of packaging logistics. Think about getting the packaging from point A to point B, where the product is actually packaged. We're seeing an interesting opportunity here. 20 truckloads of rigid containers versus a single truckload of flexible packaging. And think about that in the realm of transportation, energy, the CO2, carbon footprint, the whole material handling aspect, and then ultimately the warehousing. So companies are starting to realize that the packaging they use and have used for many years certainly can have an impact on the way that they're packaging today. And as there's more and more pressures on these companies to reduce costs, these are going to be very important considerations. So we really talk about the real cost and negative environmental impact of rigid packaging. But this is just considered the way it is and the way it's been for the last 50 years. So we're really starting to think about new ways, new things, new opportunities that can create an opportunity to repackage your product, save on transportation, save on energy, save on packaging costs, and ultimately simplify your packaging operation. When we talk about pouch packaging, it's really a very interesting area because the pouch is no longer just a pouch or just a flexible package. But today we have the ability to add shape, insert reclosable or dispensing features into the package, and it really creates an opportunity for a functionality aspect of form and function. And it's not just pouches, we're also seeing a multitude of bag packaging possibilities, different shapes, large, medium, and small sizes to appeal to different market outlets. And the consumer responding very nicely to the flexible package. Many of our children have grown up with new and different packaging. And as young adults, they're embracing flexible packaging as a way of life. So we touched on the ability to insert spouts, zippers, reclosable features, really been very, very important and key to the success of the flexible packaging area. because these types of features really make the package functional, make the package dispensable, and it really is adding to the flexible packaging movement. So when we look at what's really happening in the marketplace, particularly in North America, and really what you're seeing in North America is also a reflection on what we're seeing globally. Okay, this isn't just an area of the world that's embracing this type of packaging, but in the United States, we've seen it have a dramatic impact on change. And a lot of these changes have already been taking place from around the world due to different dynamics. But very interesting if we look at this slide and we see some very big brands and a transition that's really taking place. So even on the personal care side, we have detergents that are being partnered with a flexible packaging alternatives. Beverage, same way. Different types of products. A lot of these products, by the way, are not new. They're not particularly innovative, but by introducing them in a new packaging format, it's creating some excitement for that very mature product category and selling more of what's inside. And that's very, very interesting, because how can you reinvent a product that may be 50 to 100 years old and make it exciting to the consumer? And companies are realizing that by repackaging them in a different way, it can appeal to a different demographic of consumer and provide consumer choice. Another major driver that we're seeing in the United States, as well as around the world, is the expansion of market outlets for consumer products. So we see a variety of different stores and different brand outlets that are selling these products. Okay, so it's not just a traditional supermarket that we've been accustomed to over many years, but now we have what we call super centers, club stores, convenience stores, and private label brands, as well as e-commerce. You know, when we ran into the COVID situation, we saw e-commerce grow in popularity. So now products were being ordered online and then shipped directly to the home. So that had a major impact. And you can imagine if you're sending glass jars, bottles, cans through e-commerce, can be quite expensive. But if the packaging is now flexible, lighter weight, and easier to transport, you know, that really creates an opportunity. And then even on the retail side, in what we call bricks and mortar store, you know, there's a lot of packaging that's always looked the same on the shelf, right? Boxes, cans, jars, bottles. And, you know, so flexible packaging presents itself differently on the shelf, gets the consumer's attention. And in these different marketing outlets, they're all looking to do something different, to create a different shopping experience for the consumer. And that's really important. So it's no longer just a traditional supermarket, but we have these value-added shopping experiences, and they're looking to create and present products in a different way to create a different shopping experience for the consumer. So with all of those different dynamics that we've just discussed, it's interesting to take a look at some of the markets that are being influenced. And it's a very broad section of markets. So it's not just in one little category, but it's very, very broad in its reach. And as each one of these markets grow incrementally, the cumulative effect is huge. So even if these different markets grow 1 or 2%, we're seeing, you know, 5 to 10% growth across the spectrum of consumer product packaging. So we've seen what happens with children. This is interesting products, and most of us are familiar with Capri Sun and their success. They were one of the first companies to embrace a pouch format, particularly for single-serve sizes, and the market grew quite huge. Globally, the market for Capri Sun is approximately 8 billion pouches. And those pouches are consumed by an age category of 6 to 12-year-olds. And keep in mind that these youngsters that grew up with this package are now young adults, certainly having an influence on the products that they purchase and the decisions that they make for their families. Here we can see Honest Kids, which is a brand of Coca-Cola, and they're obviously looking to piggyback or to join Capri Sun in their success by creating a single-serve product offering that's targeted to the same 6 to 12-year-old demographic. These products are becoming more and more interesting because a lot of companies now are introducing different flavor profiles, organic products, and so forth. Other value-added categories, salad dressings, food service, eliminating those rigid containers. And here, if we see the single serve or salad dressing for two in a small spouted pouch, this becomes an opportunity for occasion of use. So maybe it's not replacing the bottle, but it's a package that perhaps can go to a picnic, it can go to the office, and it can create that brand extension on another occasion of use. And that's really important. Still promoting the brand, still promoting that favorite salad dressing flavor, but creating different sizes and different formats to appeal to a different consumer. Campbell's, very well known for their cans of soup. It's a huge company and founded many, many years ago. And their whole marketing strategy has been around a can. Now, if we think about that, a lot of these companies don't necessarily, offer many alternatives. And after many, many years, a company like Campbell's actually becomes a can company. Their whole infrastructure is built around the can, packaging, distribution, warehousing, retail, shipping. It's all around the can or the packaging format. If you're a cereal company, you're more oriented toward a carton. So you've become so oriented toward a carton that you actually become an extension of a cartoning company as opposed to a food or cereal company. So companies now are starting to realize that they're food companies and they can use different packaging formats to grow the category. And they're really seeing the opportunity of millennials. That's the age group of 18 to 34. They represent 25% of the US population, or approximately 80 million people. And as you can see here, the president of Campbell North America says there's a lot of them and they're spending money. And he says traditional soup was packaged in a can and marketed for about $1.10. And now put in a pouch, they can sell it to that demographic at $2.99. And what's happening here is that those young demographic users who grew up with a pouch of Capri Sun are certainly not having any problem utilizing a pouch. Now, this pouch now can be microwaved. It can go in on the go. It adds portability, occasion of use. And guess what? The company is selling more of what's inside, which is their core competency, which is soup. So packaging today is really being used strategically to appeal to a wider demographic and also creating convenience and additional convenience of use. And as a result, selling more of their traditional product. Here we see an extension of those products into microwave, what we call ready meals, convenience meals, low cost, microwavable, heat it and eat it. And this creates a whole new opportunity. Now, this is very interesting because, again, as we mentioned, Campbell's is a can company, right? Typically selling in cans. And now they're selling in pouches. And they're realizing a business opportunity in doing that. Confectionery. We're seeing a lot of confectionery, large companies, medium, small companies, utilizing stand-up pouch and flexible packaging to position their products in a unique way in the market. And the consumers are responding very well. So a lot of these packages are incorporating zipper for reclosability, so people can snack and then reclose and store, or traveling on the go. You'll see a lot of these types of packages in travel arrangements, on the airline, traveling in cars, on trips, and the convenience obviously is really, really important. Different types of packaging for retort. So in other words, shelf-stable packaging. So here's a product that would be traditionally considered a commodity, now packaged as a retort package. And now this package can be microwaved with quick convenience. So instead of thinking about pasta for the family, it's pasta for two, ready in 60 seconds in the microwave. Now partner that with your favorite sauce and you have a meal, and it's quick and it's easy and it's inexpensive. And it's another way of selling more of what's inside and creating an opportunity to reposition a traditional product and provide convenience for the consumer. One of the very big areas is the breakfast cereal category. And we know that much of the cereal industry has embraced a carton or a box for their method of packaging. But that carton has always had a pouch inside to keep the product fresh. Now we're seeing these cereal products being reintroduced in a stand-up pouch with a zipper. So now we have a package that stands upright on the store shelf, just like the carton. And think about the bag was always inside the carton. Now we're adding a zipper, great printing, great graphics, and this is becoming a change in that transition. So again, this doesn't happen overnight, but we're starting to see signs of this happening. And I've traveled all over the world, and I'm seeing this trend taking place in Japan, in China, in Latin America, in North America, and all throughout Europe. So huge transition going on. And again, this isn't so easy for these companies to change from what they've done for 100 years to something new. So we always encourage them to think about this transition as a transitional strategy as opposed to a replacement strategy. And as a result, they're trying and experimenting and ultimately seeing that the consumer is embracing that change. There's another great, interesting category, applesauce. Applesauce in North America is one of the oldest products that have been packaged, over 200 years old. And applesauce hasn't changed very much from when it was introduced 200 years ago to today. Yes, of course, we're seeing new flavors, new different flavor profiles. But the one thing that we're seeing today, which has really turned the product into the most hot product in the market, is the repackaging of it into a spouted pouch. And that spouted pouch has added a whole new opportunity for a specific demographic. Typically, again, that 6 to 12-year-old demographic, where this taking applesauce and reinventing it as a snack for children, where it was traditionally just sold in a jar or some kind of a canister or bottle. And now it's created into a single serve snack, and it's literally reinvented the category. So applesauce, fruit purees, veggie purees, all being reinvented with the convenience of a spouted pouch. And this category is representing huge growth, not only in North America, but around the world. Baby food. You know, baby food is one of those products that has really been perfect example of, you know, how a product doesn't change. In 1931, this baby food was introduced by Beechnut, a large consumer product company, in a glass jar. And it hadn't changed since. And you can imagine, you know, that becomes very stagnant in growth. But keep in mind, it also creates an opportunity where the consumer is so used to baby food in a jar, they're not looking for anything new. But if you're a new baby food company that wants to get in the market and wants to become a player in that category, it's very challenging for them to introduce their brand in a glass jar, because it's going to be very difficult for them to take any market share from Beechnut or Gerber and any of these huge brands that typically control about 90% of the market. And here we're seeing baby food companies, especially startup companies, introducing their brand in a new spouted pouch. And if you look at this photograph, this is a traditional supermarket. You can see that the spouted pouch is actually the most popular baby food package format in the store. And this package has revolutionized that category, which hadn't changed since 1931. So this is what I call a real renaissance in packaging underway, aisle by aisle throughout the supermarket. And we can see all kinds of these examples as we go through the traditional supermarket, not just in one category, but literally aisle by aisle, we are seeing examples of these changes. And if you're a small entrepreneurial company and you want to get noticed and you want to grow your business and create excitement around your products, packaging and the repackaging of your product within a specific category can really separate you from the market leaders and give you that opportunity to get noticed, to get on the shelf and make sales. As a result of that, we now see the large market share holders also now introducing spouted pouches as their market share gets eroded by newcomers to the category. And that's amazing if you think about that. So we're shifting market leaders to something new and different, which they're very reluctant to do by changing the packaging format and letting the consumer make the choice. And that same phenomenon is happening across many, many different product categories. Here we see the dairy and non-dairy product category, where yogurts, sour cream, and different types of value-added dairy products are being introduced in stand-up pouches for convenience. Again, here we see an opportunity where we can appeal yogurt to young kids. So if we've seen that 6 to 12-year-old category work for Capri Sun and work for Coca-Cola and work for Applesauce, why would we not see the same interesting phenomenon happening with yogurt targeted toward children? Again, a great way to sell more product, and you can partner with what you're doing today with something new and different and really create some excitement for your product category. So it's not just the food category that we're seeing things. We're also seeing tremendous change going on in the personal care and home care business categories. So here's a company called Method, and Method did a very interesting thing. We all hear about companies trying to reduce their consumption of plastic, and that's not necessarily regarding flexible packaging, but it's typically regarding bottles and rigid plastic containers, which in some cases get recycled and in some cases do not. Particularly on the personal care side or the detergent side of the business, many of these rigid containers do not get recycled and they end up going to landfill. Now, when we talked about the logistics of transportation and the trucks 20 to 1, you could see this as a very interesting business model. So if you partner your bottle, which can be beautifully designed, but when it's empty, goes into a recycling bin or into the trash, that's not such a great marketing strategy. But if you partnered it with a pouch and you refilled that beautiful bottle multiple times, now you're creating good brand loyalty in the home, and you're also reducing the amount of bottles that are produced on an annual basis within your organization. So as a result, you're using less plastic and you're creating an interesting marketing strategy. So Method is a very interesting company because they've done this with their different soaps, their hand lotions, different types of detergents, and it's really created a very, very interesting niche for them in the marketplace. And here we see in a further extension of that, what I like to call the refill pouch frenzy, right? Helping to reduce plastic waste for these 2025, 2030 commitments that we're hearing a lot of these big consumer product companies make. And here we see a great example of P&G, where they've created a partnership between their bottle and the pouch. Now, in this case, in Europe, they're actually utilizing now aluminum bottles, and they're partnering it with a refill pouch that can be refilled multiple times. Now, the reason they're going from plastic bottles to aluminum bottles is because when that bottle is recycled, it can be 100% recycled and it has value, high value. So it will stay in good condition as a refill package, right? Partnering it with a refill. But the thing that's really interesting about this is, yes, it's all environmental, it's less plastic, but it's also great marketing, right? If you can keep that brand in the home for multiple uses and send the consumer back for a refill, you now have a great marketing strategy. And you can also see here these other packages, which is the Aeroflex package, which has been developed here in the United States as a consumer package where you can actually squeeze it and there's no need for a spout or to refill, and it takes much less plastic and it becomes a functional package with their unique valve dispensing technology. So it doesn't stop, again, just with food or personal care. We're going to see more and more industrial type applications coming forward with flexible packaging where we're looking to replace those rigid containers. Motor oil is a great example. In the United States, we do millions and millions of quarts of bottled oil that people do for oil changes on their vehicles. And those bottles, 99% of them going to landfill with anywhere from 10 to 15% of residual oil, and none of them are really being recycled, okay? Because they've been contaminated with oil, industrial chemical. So now the pouch can also dispense the oil and flat, shipping in, shipping out, and when it's empty, it can go flat, and eventually we have recycling, or we can use this as a source of energy if we were to incinerate those to create energy from that very high BTU package. So we're going to see a lot of this type of plastic bottle replacement with some of these motor oil categories and different types of industrial type of applications, because every market is looking to reduce transportation, storage, warehousing, and material savings. The other areas, dispensability, the ability to dispense a product and add convenience. So again, replacing and partnering rigid containers for any kind of squeezable product. And it adds to the spreadability, dispensability, and squeezability of that package. So think about any products where this could fit, and you can certainly imagine the benefits of a flexible packaging alternative. We've seen the detergent industry embrace a very interesting strategy. In the North American market and now around the world, we're seeing liquid detergent products, either full strength or concentrated, being replaced by dissolvable pods. So these pods are placed into the washing machine. We eliminate the need for water that traditionally would have been in the liquid detergent. And by the way, the washing machine is adding water to the wash cycle, so there's no reason to have water in there. And we're controlling the amount of detergent that's used for a wash. You might use one or two of these pods. And then the other thing that I think is a really interesting phenomenon is how P&G here with Tide, they decided not to just use a rigid container, which when it was empty would be disposed of and create a lot of waste, but they actually partnered it with a stand-up pouch where the pouch can be used as the primary package, or it can be used to refill the canister, again, further exemplifying that refill strategy that we saw earlier with P&G with their shampoo products. So there's a lot of creativity and imagination that can be used when we create a transitional strategy. And again, ultimately on a product like this, the consumer is going to make a decision. Do they want to buy a canister and refill it? Or do they just want to use a stand-up pouch and have no canister at all? But it's all about giving the consumer choice and creating an opportunity of transition. Because maybe in 10 years from now, maybe the canister disappears because it's costly, lots of transportation, and so forth, where the pouch is much more compact to ship in, much more compact to transport, to store, and then ultimately when it's empty, very compact to either recycle, or if it does go to landfill, it goes to landfill very efficiently. Very big area that we see in the United States that's helping us to create this transition. And I'm sure that if wherever you are in the world, you also have some resources, what we call contract packaging or co-packing or contract manufacturing. where these small companies are actually packaging for the large multinationals, packaging their products in flexible packaging. It's a great opportunity to embrace this industry and work with them, because these are really the unsung heroes behind the scenes. A lot of these large multinationals don't necessarily have flexible packaging equipment in a very big way, since it's new and evolving. So they outsource it to a contract packager to get it in the market. And we work very closely through collaboration with the contract packaging industry to bring those new products to the market. We collaborate with them, with the large multinationals, and make sure that we can get these packages on the shelf so that the consumer can ultimately make a choice. The co-packer also is very much capable of doing long runs, medium runs, and short runs. So it also can do the test marketing. You know, if a company is, a large multinational is investing in the equipment, you know, they may want to get to the market, get a head start, do some market testing. Lots of different marketing outlets, as we discussed, with all of the different stores and club stores and different types of retailers, where you can introduce some of these products through contract packaging and do something new and different. So really, what's next for flexible packaging? From my perspective, more growth, no end in sight. The flexible packaging industry will continue to evolve and work to address both real and perceived environmental concerns. We will definitely see an uptick in packaging materials, flexible packaging materials that will be recyclable, compostable, and biodegradable. Our industry stands strong, and we will be here for the foreseeable future. If we look in the United States, we have a great partner, the Flexible Packaging Association, and they're very busy connecting, advancing, and leading with the implementation of flexible packaging. And it's very important that we support our local Flexible Packaging Association, no matter where you are around the world, because this is the voice of our industry, not only to the consumer, but also to the consumer product companies that are starting to make choices that impact the environment, the consumer, convenience, and the world we live in. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to present the repackaging of America. And I hope I've inspired some thinking on each one of you who are listening to this presentation to think outside of the box. And really, let's give flexible packaging the opportunity for success, for the future, for reinventing brands and reinventing products for consumers. Thank you very much for listening.
Gentlemen, let's all give your thanks to Mr. Dennis Kalamusa. And also, thank you, Dennis, for the great sharing. I'm receiving the text from Dennis. Delegates, please wait for a while. I see. Okay. Dear delegates, the breaking news from Dennis, because due to the time difference, Dennis is actually from America, so he couldn't join the live Q&A today. So, but anyway, he provide me with his contact information, and now I would like to share it in the chat box right now to all of you. So if you want, you can directly email your questions to Mr. Dennis. Yes. All right. So let's welcome our next speaker. Our next speaker is waiting there online for a very long time, and I'm looking forward to hear his very wonderful presentation. The next speaker is Joy Roy Bonok, Head of Research of Colliers Philippines. The topic he will be speaking is trends in flexible packaging post-COVID. It's a very hot topic right now. So let's welcome and listen to him. Mr. Joy, you can have the floor now. And delegates, prepare your questions as well. Let's continually have the great discussion, and also let's hear the live Q&A later from Mr. Joy. And Mr. Joy is online now, so yes, he will be joining the live Q&A. So see you guys later.
The pandemic has really disrupted the flexible packaging market, not just in Asia Pacific, but all over the world. In fact, the estimate is that the Asia Pacific flexible packaging market will grow by close to 3% annually from 2021 to 2026. So there's a lot of factors that have been contributing to this growth. Of course, we will see an increased demand in Asia Pacific. So you have countries that have really been seeing a tremendous growth in terms of flexible packaging, mainly because of consumption patterns, personal consumption spending, which is likely to grow alongside the growth of economic regions. The beverage industry is also likely to see potential for further growth, and millennials will continue to propel demand, especially those that are really looking for packaging materials and those that have growing disposable incomes. Now, the frozen food sector will also boost the growth, and moving forward, this will be one of the segments that will drive growth in flexible packaging across Asia Pacific. So I won't discuss this in detail, but just to give you an idea of the flexible packaging market players and those that dominate the scene in Asia Pacific. So as I mentioned, 2017 to 2021, there has been a tremendous growth for this flexible packaging. But you have home care packaging, beauty and personal care packaging, food, beverage, and dog and cart food packaging that continue to drive this segment. And you have these segments, the sectors growing between about 8 to 11%. So that will definitely drive this segment further, especially beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. Once we start living with this COVID-19 virus, and the relaxation of mobility restrictions across Asia Pacific will also contribute to this growth beyond 2022. So again, it will really be an optimistic outlook for the entire Asia Pacific region. China, we expect China to be the largest market in flexible packaging. The demand to be derived rather from healthcare, food, and beverage will continue to lead demand, and for this segment, especially for a lot of millennials, for a lot of households that have really been depending on online groceries, on takeouts and home deliveries. E-commerce is one segment that will continue to thrive. In fact, in key Asian economies, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, we really see these countries recording tremendous growth in e-commerce. A lot of people ordering online, and because of the convenience that online shopping, of course, provides, there is a growing preference for ready-to-eat meals. In fact, the pre-pandemic, we have been seeing this in the market. So a lot of people ordering takeouts, and because of the convenience, a lot of professionals really are more mobile, and they don't want to spend a lot of time preparing food. Of course, that also consumes a lot of their time. So rather than preparing their own lunch or dinner, they'd rather order ready to eat meals. And this is some thing that we will see thriving in Asia Pacific. A lot of restaurants and F&B outlets or stalls really providing these ready to eat meals. And there is also a rising environmental concern, and a lot of establishments becoming more ecologically friendly, ecologically conscious. So there's really this demand for this flexible packaging, and we will definitely see this beyond 2022. So these are just some of the important trends that we've been seeing in the market, but there are also additional growth opportunities. So these are just some of the planks that this flexible packaging market can really stand on, and will really support the growth for this market moving forward. Expansion of operations in emerging regions in Asia Pacific. So there are several countries that are projected to grow and expand at a much faster pace, starting in 2022. Of course, we saw how the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the economies of uh, these countries in 2020 and 2021, and definitely they will grow at a much faster pace by the end of 2023, and even spilling over to 2024, 2025, increase production capabilities to meet growing demand for packaged food. Again, the household consumption pattern is really, gravitating towards the need for more packaged food, for more takeouts and home deliveries, and the introduction of projects that are environmentally friendly and cost effective. So, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of manufacturers or locators in industrial parks and industrial spaces becoming more environmentally conscious, eco-friendly, and there are mandates from their parent companies to implement eco-friendly and sustainable packaging procedures and manufacturing policy. So definitely, we will see this demand supporting the growth for this flexible packaging subsector. And you have the productive innovation that we believe is really aimed at sustainability, convenience, and recyclability. Again, this is somehow tied to the growth opportunity that I raised earlier, which includes the introduction of projects that are eco-friendly and overall that are sustainable to the environment. So definitely a lot of these trends we will be seeing moving forward. So in a nutshell, here in the Philippines and even in other regions, even other emerging economies in Asia Pacific, there has been a greater demand for more industrial spaces. In fact, I just want to highlight here. In the Philippines, we have been seeing a lot of industrial parks and locators. Manufacturing is definitely a growing subsector across the region. And you have economies such as Thailand, Vietnam, that have really been relying on the growth of manufacturing. Here in the Philippines, the country is no exception to the expansion of manufacturing that we have been seeing. In fact, the flexible packaging subsector is also one of the segments that we will be seeing expanding moving forward. So definitely there are tremendous opportunities for these sectors. And of course, this will also drive the demand for more manufacturing investments. And purchasing managers index is a very important indicator. So across the region, if you have a purchasing managers index of more than 50, that score indicates a revival or rebound of manufacturing activities. And this is not just in the Philippines. In fact, a lot of Asian analysts, those that cover Asia Pacific, have been saying that there has been a resurgence of manufacturing activities after 2020. So definitely there will be more potential manufacturing locators. I just want to highlight here those that manufacture medicine, medical device, especially those that also manufacture food and beverage. And this is one segment that we believe will continue driving the demand for flexible packaging. And this is really one sector that holds a lot of promise. And again, because of greater deliveries that we have been seeing in key cities, just such as Manila, Hanoi, Jakarta, Bangkok, definitely there will be greater demand for more logistics facilities, warehouses, and complementing this demand is the greater push for more flexible packaging, because if you will be transporting all these goods, all these disposable items, all the consumables, definitely you will be requiring flexible packaging. So again, this is one sector, one segment that we see thriving beyond 2022. And speaking of the demand for flexible warehousing, especially with the complementing take up for more industrial space by food and the beverage manufacturers, there has also been a growing demand for cold chain assets. So I just want to highlight that the demand for cold chain facilities has been propelled by the demand for more vaccines, especially now that a lot of economies in the region have really been ramping up their vaccination efforts. They're providing booster shots to their population, and moving forward over the next 3 to 5 years, this is one factor that will also drive the demand for flexible packaging and the complementing demand for cold chain assets. In fact, I would even assume that the demand for these flexible packaging somehow is complemented by greater need for cold chain assets and similar logistics facilities across Asia Pacific. And similar to the slides that I highlighted earlier, economic growth of these countries in the region, which is even projected at above 5%. So will really complement the need for more flexible packaging and eventually for more cold chain assets, ease of or the use of e-commerce platforms. So you have in the region, you have the likes of Grab, you have the likes of Food Panda, and definitely the need for these services for e-commerce platforms will definitely expand moving forward, and this will only anchor the growth of the flexible packaging. And speaking of flexible packaging, again, you have the consumer preference shifting to frozen food product, and obviously, it's no brainer that the greater demand for frozen food products will also have a tremendous impact on the demand for flexible packaging across the region, and population of economies across Asia Pacific are also expanding. So all these factors will definitely contribute to a more dynamic, flexible packaging sector. So it really holds a lot of promise, and we hope that as economies slowly reopen and as more businesses expand, as the demand for food and beverage also increases, definitely one segment that will benefit is the flexible packaging sector. In fact, for some economies, the greater demand for chemical products and other similar chemical substances has also been driving the demand for other needs for your houses, for households, for other supplies that we need in our offices, in our establishments, in our houses. Definitely the consumables and the other items that will be requiring this packaging material. So a lot of sub-segments will continue to increase as economies start to improve, and as we start to slowly live with this COVID-19 virus. So definitely a lot of growth prospects, and again, because of growing number and thriving personal consumption and spending patterns across the region, flexible packaging will definitely be one of the segments that will continue to increase. So that concludes my presentation this afternoon. And just want to highlight here, if you want to check more about the Colliers and how we discuss trends in the industrial sector and manufacturing trends, so please visit our website. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Please search Colliers Philippines. And our website also is available online. That's colliers.com. So I think we are opening the floor for a couple of
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Joy Roy Bonok. Please turn on your microphone and camera and join the Q&A platform. I have copy-pasted the three of the questions in the chat box, but however, delegates, we welcome more questions to come. Mr. Joy, you can click the red button on the screen and try to join the Q&A platform. And thank you for, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name right, Benjamas, Mr. or Miss Benjamas Panyat. Thank you. You said nice research and presentation. Thank you for that. I hope Mr. Joy Roy Bonok can join the platform too. Oh, by the way, Mr. Joy, if you cannot turn on the microphone and camera, you can try to refresh the page by click F5 on your keyboard. You can try to relog in. Dear delegates, while we wait for Mr. Joy to join the Q&A platform, please find more questions and send them in the chat box. I'll forward them to our speaker. Okay, Mr. Jerry Yap, I'm not sure if that's your question. You said send me more details for the frozen food and medical products packaging. Okay, I hope that you can make it into a question and ask our speaker today. Okay, Mr. Joy, if you're encountering some technical problems, delegates, let's. Oh, no, it's okay. Great.
Yeah, sorry,
You get
my
it now.
internet had encountered problems. I'm sorry.
No
for
problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, delegates, let's answer the first question. Shall we, Mr. Joy? Let's see, maybe
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, based on the plastic waste rate due to the pandemic, will biodegradable materials replacing the plastic industry? Oh, will biodegradable materials replace the plastic industry anytime? I'd say it will be a mix of this biodegradable and the plastics sector. Definitely, we will see a sustained demand still for plastics and the flexible packaging overall, because we just can't dispose of plastic, right? I mean, it will be an integral part of our daily lives. The packaging will really be there, and with how we live right now, how we eat and in order online, definitely we will still be needing plastic packaging and more flexible packaging solutions. So I think this will increase and expand along with each other, talking about the recyclable materials and the plastic materials.
All right. I'm typing words in the chat box right now because you have more questions coming. So anyway, is that all for that? Okay, you published the
Yes. And
second
the
question.
question is, what's the market dynamic and growth rate for the Philippines? I think a good proxy for this is the expansion of the population, and then comparing that versus the growth of the economy. What's positive here is that the Philippine economy is projected to grow at a much faster pace this year. So this is projected to be between 7 to 9% from 5.6% growth in 2021. We contracted by 9.6% in 2020 because of the pandemic. But just like other key Asian economies, the Philippines will grow at a much faster pace. And definitely the expansion of this demand for packaging and for other flexible packaging materials will also grow at this pace. Consumer spending will likely expand in the Philippines. The Philippines is what, about 70% household consumption driven. So much of our economy is still dependent or reliant on household consumption. Definitely, the need for these packaging will further expand as we try to live with this COVID virus, and even if we win over this COVID-19 pandemic, definitely we will see packaging to expand continuously.
I see. Please, there are more questions coming up, so please scroll down a bit to see those in the Q&A mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the factors that cause the market to struggle in the plastic recycling? Well, definitely there will be disruptions in supply chain. In fact, not just in the Philippines, but the disruption of supply chains in China and other parts of the world will be an obstacle for plastics manufacturing and even for recycling. I think we have another.
Yep,
What
if
the
you
growth
like.
rate and conversion with the use of flexible packaging? How would you address the Philippine government plans to ban and phase out the use of single-use plastic, including? Well, I don't want to sound political here, but of course we need political will to fully implement this. I believe there is a law that pushes for incineration, or at least a measure was proposed for incineration, but I think some sectors were against it. That's why it was not implemented. But definitely, there are a lot of programs approved by the government, proposed by some civil society organizations that really want to implement the sustainable solution. So let's see, moving forward, if those will finally be implemented.
I
And I
see.
think this is the last one.
So far, yes. Delegates,
Supplier.
you can ask
I
more
think I don't
questions.
know if some of these materials are provided by Ring Gear, but if you require my presentation, definitely I can also forward that. Thank you.
Oh, I see. Okay. So at the end, please, if you want to make a conclusion and say goodbye to delegates.
Well, I just want to say that the flexible packaging material will likely evolve moving forward. We will see further differentiation, meaning more products that will also be relying on flexible packaging. So, as we become more mobile and as we go on with our daily lives and live with COVID, there will definitely be shifts in consumer preferences and in the way we package. The food we eat and other consumables and essentials. So definitely there are opportunities for flexible packaging. So all we need to do is be proactive and continue tapping these opportunities beyond COVID-19. Thank
I
you.
see. So at the end, would you like to provide also your contact information with us to share with
Yes,
them?
you may email me, joey.bondok at colliers.com, or if you have other queries, you may course them through Ringier, and Ringier will get in touch with me.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Looking forward to see you
Yes,
in the
thank
future
you.
events.
Hopefully, we can have face-to-face briefings in the future. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Ingat.
Once again, delegates, let's give your thanks in the chat box and say thank you for Mr. Joy to attend our virtual conference today. And also, yeah, he is welcome more questions to him, and you can send it to Ringer or send it directly to him, and we will transform. We will give your questions to Mr. Joy Roy Bonuk. So after our 2 sessions of the presentation, how would you like to learn more? That's okay. Let's have a networking session first. During the networking session, the only thing, not only you can have the time to take a short break, but also seize the great chance to go to the networking function in the platform and also visit their exhibitor booth. Especially we have special activity today. Please go to one of the exhibitor booths, Siemens, go there and try to download their ebook, ebook file there. And they have a special gift for everyone who download their ebook. If you are 50%, you know, in the very first 50%, you can win the prize. Yeah, that's what I heard. So yeah, I would like to join too. But before that, let me introduce our business partners to all of you. Now I'd like to introduce Dingkun Plastic Machinery Company Limited, based in southern Taiwan, has inherited its technological expertise from its forefathers and actively exchange experience with foreign partners to design and manufacture plastic machinery and equipment, such as multi-layer blown film machines and monofilament yarn drawing machines. Its machines are built entirely in Taiwan, MIT, with 99% of them being exported. Dingkun is an invisible superpower in the global plastic business because of its worldwide technical agents and service sites, which enable it to give immediate technical help to customers despite the time differences and cross-border issues. And also, next up, Siemens Digital Industrial Software is driving transformation to enable a digital enterprise where engineering, manufacturing, and electronics design meets tomorrow. The accelerator portfolio helps companies of all sizes create and leverage digital twins that provide organizations with new insights, opportunities, and levels of automation to drive innovation. We will also giving out Grab Food and Ride voucher worth $5 for those who are the first 50 participants that download the Siemens Sustainable Packaging Solution ebook right now. So don't miss out. Go to left-hand side and visit their booth. So how are you gonna do that? Not only download their digital file, but also visit their booth. For those people who still not know how to do it, let me show you how. Now I would like to share my screen to all of you, and okay, I will stay in the lobby first. Okay, and all of you can follow my lead and explore the very magical function of our Ringer event platform. And the lobby page, as you can see, many people has already introduced themselves saying hi or tell everybody where they come from. It's very good. It's a very great chance to make friends and make business happen today. Also, everybody has been in the conference already, so I will skip that part. But it's very important is go to their booth. Pay a visit to their booth. To Siemens, Dingkun, Milken, Aeroflex, Packaging World, and Ringer Trade Media as well. Especially if you scroll down the Siemens booth, you can notice that not only we have their introductions, but also we have an ebook download area. Don't forget, I mentioned that we have special price for those who download the ebook. If you click the ebook download area, wait for a while, you might need to enter some name, email, company, small informations for them to get to know you, whoever download their ebook, and then they will send you the price. So thank you, Siemens. And also, let's visit Dingkun's booth. That's Dingkun's booth. Not only you can go to their website, pay a visit to their LinkedIn and Facebook page. You can click the Start Chat directly, talk to those booth managers. And scroll down, we have the introduction and also their video to watch. The most important is, I would like to say, the networking function. I would like to introduce you that. All the delegates, you can find their name, title, and maybe some of them with a profile picture too. Click any one of them, click Start Chat. You can feel free to have a great networking experience. At the very last, before you go, I have to remind you that answer the feedback form, because we would like to get to know you better and work better for you. For the next time, we would like to create a better online event and physical event or hybrid event for you. So seize your time. I will count down 5 minutes from now, and I'll see you guys later.
We provide a professional, customized consulting service for diversified international market, and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers, and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, we aim to prove the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, England is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that require manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, include light and the repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator and a partner in the market for our customers.
What's one of the main drivers of change in the manufacturing industry? It's us, consumers. 63% of us want to have new products faster. 94% regularly search for alternatives. 61% of us are willing to pay more for higher quality. 74% have become more price sensitive. Another 60% want more sustainability. Consumers can configure and order virtually anything online at the touch of a button. New products, faster, more personalized. Companies all over the world are challenged to keep up. From personalized products to mass-producing one-off items with consistently high quality and speed, today's consumers are looking for a tailored experience from companies who are engaged socially, environmentally, and deliver more than just a product. To make, company must get product development, automated production processes, and digitalization to work hand in hand. Companies need a true digital enterprise. Only by combining processing, using and continuously optimizing virtual and actual information can you come up with something new, something better, and make consumers' individual dreams a reality. Siemens Digital Industries Software, where today meets tomorrow.
We provide a professional customized consulting service for diversified international market and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer's teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, when armed to prove the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, England is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that require manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, equipment life, and the repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator and a partner in the market for our customers.
Hello, dear delegates. Welcome back to the second half of our sessions today. I'd like to ask if you have the great enough time networking with each others, and also have you downloaded ebook already? I myself really want to win the prize, but yeah, sorry, I have to do the host job today. But I encourage you to do that before the others did. Okay, so let me know if you're still have questions. You can leave your questions there. We have a text assistant in the chat box all the time. And don't hesitate to ask your questions to our next speakers. Let me introduce our next speaker to all of you. The next speaker covers an interesting topic on the barrier requirements for flexible packaging. Our speaker currently holds the position of Sustainable Packaging Manager for Milligan & Company and has over 10 years of experience in the packaging industry. He is a polymer technologist, member of the Australia Institute of Packaging, and a Certified Packaging Professional, known as CPP. So let's all welcome Mr. Daryl Chong. Daryl Chong, you may have the floor now. And delegates, don't forget, Mr. Daryl Chong will also join the live Q&A later. So prepare your questions and let's have a great discussion later. See you.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Firstly, I would like to thank Ringgis for the opportunity to share at today's conference. The sustainability movement has taken the world by storm. Many global players are working towards such goals. I'd like to share today a little bit on how this movement will affect us in the industry, some of the challenges, and another tool to add to your toolbox of solutions to tackle these challenges. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my company. Milligan is known as the largest private chemical company in the world. We have over 7,300 associates, over 65 locations globally. Our areas of expertise include chemicals, flooring, healthcare, and textiles. Our key purpose is together we strive to positively impact the world around us for generations to come. Our values include integrity, excellence, innovation, sustainability, and empowering our people. First, I'd like to start off with packaging waste regulations. As we can see, almost all countries in our region are working towards extended producer responsibility and other regulations as well. We in the industry need to prepare for this and to be able to support this movement towards such goals. This is a moment where opportunity strikes to remain ahead of the curve and develop the needed options for the future, or basically be left behind. In some sustainable packaging guidelines and standardization, our fellow members of the industry, the APR, Recyclass, CFlex, and the WPO, and local actors are doing the best to give us direction in what we need to do to achieve our targets. I'll touch on some of these regulations further in the presentation. So how is the industry responding to this? The majority of the companies are responding with goals around recyclability. I'm happy to say, speaking to our fellow esteemed colleagues, that nowadays it's not only the global brand owners, but also larger local brands who are getting more involved in the sustainability discussion. I'm sure by now all of you should be aware of the 2025 and 2030 goals of the various brand owners, hence I will not elaborate on this. As we know well, flexible packaging has a myriad range of benefits, be it lightweighting or convenience. However, to currently achieve barrier requirements, the solutions are boiled down mainly to the use of multi-layer laminates or co-extrusions. And often, many of these same solutions have been the bane of the recycling industry. Moving forward, the monomaterial movement strives to solve this. However, as previous solutions have been taken out, new solutions are required to address these needs. Let's examine these regulations and the various guidelines in a little bit more detail. Some examples of this are as follows. Based on the APR guidelines, PVDC and PVC have been ruled out. With metallized, it's considered detrimental. Workhorse additives, which our solutions qualify under, are APR design preferred. Moving on to CFlex, which is more familiar to most of us here. PET is to be avoided, as is paper, aluminum foil, and multi-layer laminates. Materials such as polyamide are still under evaluation in phase 2 of D4As, and even if it's included, will likely be subjected to the same requirements as EVOH, being below a certain percentage of the total structure. For recyclers regulations in Europe, the regulations are quite clear. More than 5% EVOH, PA, PVDC, PVC, any foaming agents, and aluminum are all considered no to low compatibility with the recycling stream. Now that we know a little bit about background, challenges, and regulations, I would like to introduce our family of solutions known as Ultraguard. This is applicable to be used in master batch form for film extrusion. That can bring about benefits like increased shelf life, help achieve recyclable structures with good barrier, and more flexibility of the design of the structures. So the next question is, where is Ultraguard positioned in the toolbox of materials? As you can see in the chart, Ultraguard is added to HDPE is placed roughly between metallized PET and OPP. Using Ultraguard allows HDPE to be one of the best recyclable solutions for moisture barrier. Some of the areas Ultraguard can help support flexible applications include barrier improvement, 25 to 50% lower transmission rates in HDPE and LLDPE for all permeants, optical improvements such as reduction in LLDPE haze of up to 40%, improvement in HDPE clarity and haze, and higher gloss in both HDPE and LLDPE. So how does Ultraguard work? Ultraguard works by reforming the crystal morphology in PE films, allowing for overall improved barrier function through the tortuous path methodology. This improvement of barrier properties apply to the migration of moisture, oxygen, grease, hydrocarbons, solvents, etc. Substantial reduction in transmission of up to 50% has been observed in multiple processes. Taking a closer look at the ASEAN photos, we can see with the addition of Ultraguard, areas such as fibril structures are substantially reduced, allowing for increased laminate plates. These laminate plates act as a natural barrier to permeation in general, leading to increased barrier resistance by up to 50%. Alright then, let's start with our first example. This structure has a 70% of a 0.96 HDPE and 30% of a 0.918 LL. Ultraguard was added to a HD portion and this structure was repeated over several thicknesses. Let's look at the data that we generated. On the chart, the gray line represents the control films, that is HD and LL but no Ultraguard. As expected, barrier improves as the film is made thicker. The orange line shows the same structure treated with Ultraguard. You can see that Ultraguard enables you to achieve comparable barrier in a thinner film, or enhanced barrier in a film of the same thickness. That means if your goal is to lightweight a package, but you cannot sacrifice barrier, Ultraguard might be a great solution for you. It also means that if your goal is to improve barrier in a packaging without changing film thickness, Ultraguard may be an excellent solution for you as well. In either case, Ultraguard enables enhanced performance in monomaterial PE packaging. Moving on to example 2, we tested 20 samples of a 5-layer film of varying core thickness between 26% and 51% of the structure, 2 with Ultraguard applied and 2 without. The results generated are as follows. We found that the thin core Ultraguard performed similarly to the thick core control. While the thick core Ultraguard was tested, it actually exceeded the limits of the test, showing definitively that Ultraguard plays a significant role in improving the fat permeation resistance. Likewise, when the WVTR was tested, it also showed a significant improvement of up to double the resistance of the original. In example number 3, we ran trials combining a HDPE blend with and without Ultraguard in a multi-layer EVOH barrier film, as well as LLDPE resin with and without Ultraguard. We found that it resulted in an improvement of between 35 to 37% for WVTR, HD and L respectively. Knowing now a little bit on the performance benefits of Ultraguard, I thought I'd like to share with you some of the applications we have been looking into. These include food packaging, allowing for WVTR improvement, material replacement, and flexibility of design for the cereal, powdered food, and nut markets. For other food applications, we have seen good results in pet food packaging to improve the grease barrier. Other applications being tested include coffee. For beauty and hygiene packaging applications, we are looking to reduce the permeation rates as well as to allow for material replacements for toothpaste tubes, moisturized tissues, as well as SCPs. I would next like to showcase some case studies that we carried out regarding zero liners. When we conducted a lab trial, we found that HDPE was improved by up to 60%, and hence introduced this to one of our global cereal manufacturers. A more detailed study of the resulting commercial bags will be displayed on the next slide. We compared 2 similar structures of cereal bags from 2 different countries, one using HDPE modified by Ultraguard and one without. What we found was that the WVTR was significantly improved, leading to shelf life extension of the product. The structure of the films were as follows. The internal layer was silane, the HDPE layer, core layer was 33 microns, and HDPE skin layer was 10 microns. For sample 2, which was using Millikan technology, the internal layer of silane was 7 microns, HD was 35 in the core, and HD was 15 on the skin. Next, I would like to share some successes in Coax and lamination tubes. For lamination tubes, we saw an improvement of 40% in optical and an improvement of 30% in WVTR as compared to incumbent. Likewise, in Coax tubes, we saw an improvement in the same areas ranging from 19% haze to 36% WVTR improvement. Knowing the benefits that can be offered by Ultraguard, do know that Millikan is willing to offer support to our customers and brand owners all the way, from screening of the base resins for performance predictions, film prototyping, as well as structural barrier simulations in preparation for industrial trials. As a conclusion, Ultraguard helps achieve sustainable packaging by improving the barrier of PE towards oxygen, moisture, as well as grease, allowing for improved processing in cases of LDPE as well as HDPE. Downgauging in cases with moisture barrier is the main limitation. or extending the barrier, which gives opportunities for extended shelf life or to enter new markets. With this, I end my presentation. My contact details are as follows, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you very much.
All right, Miss Daryl, thank you for your sharing. Please enter our Q&A platform. Let me clear out the previous questions. And oh, by the way, first thing is to turn on your microphone and camera. Hello. All right. We have two questions there ready for you. Can you say something? I would like to double check your voice.
Hello, can you hear me?
It's a bit soft to me. I don't know why. I cannot hear your voice.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe some problems between while you changing the platforms. But anyway, delegates, please prepare your questions. We will have the live Q&A session later. I mean, right now. I gotta say, Mr. Dario John, your presentation is very technical, right? To me, it's very. You need to listen very carefully to ask your own question. But it's a great chance to learn from Milligan and also from Dario John. Hello, Dario.
hello, can you hear me better now?
Yes, so much loud and clear. Great. Now, okay. Let me publish the first question for you, shall we?
Sure. Is Ultraguard suitable for all PEs? Okay, Ultraguard mainly functions well with HDP and LLDPE in terms of enhancing the barrier properties. In terms of LD, there tends to be a lot of short chain branching, and those chain branchings actually interfere with the crystal formation, so it's not as suitable. However, for HD and LD blends, Ultraguard is suitable to compromise for the decrease in barrier properties that will be achieved, that happens when you do so. You typically add LD for improved processability. Yep. So that would be my answer for the first question.
Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Okay, so for the next question, is it possible to buy HDP with Ultraguard already incorporated? And yes, this is definitely possible. Do have a chat with our team, and our team will recommend which types of HDP has Ultraguard in it or will work best for your applications. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's all. I have to say, there are many people here waiting for you. I mean, listen to your presentation. However, we have only two questions for you. I think, yeah, I believe that they learned a lot. However, yeah, we have no more technical questions to you already. But I would like to ask you to have a conclusion, to summarize your presentation today, and also say thanks to delegates or, yeah, just ending your presentation today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to our presentation. If Ultraguard does show some potential for you, me and my team will be happy to support your interests and try to develop Ultraguard towards your goals. Thank you very much.
Yeah. On behalf on that point, would you like also to share your contact information if they have further question?
Sure. I'll share my contact information in the chat box.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time today, and let me double check. Okay. Delegates, say hi, say thank you to Dario as well, and I believe that you can have further discussion through their through your emails. Okay, thank you for your joining, and I'm looking forward to see you in our future events, Dario.
No worries. Thank you very much. See
Bye-bye. Okay. Dear delegates, let me go back to our agenda. Once again, in the chat box now, say thanks to, give your thanks to Mr. Dario Chong from Sustainable Packaging Manager of Milligan and Company. Yeah, this is a very, I have to say, a bit technical topic and content. I for myself, it's really hard for me to follow, but I'll try my best to understand that as well. So I believe that if you contact Dario by emails, you can have further and deeper discussions. Okay, so let's go to the next speaker. Our last speaker will present on the most urgent and relevant topic in today's flexible packaging industry, the plastic waste problem. As we all know, the plastic waste problem is a global issue that the industry is now collectively working on to come up with workable solutions to resolve the problem. So let's all listen to the presentations of Mr. Anand Chaturvedi, Vice Chairman and CEO of Flex Film International and Uflex Ltd. While we wait Mr. the speaker to get online to have the presentation, I would like to remind every delegates in the chat room and in the conference room and also in the lobby as well. We have updated the agenda. So if you see the agenda is the old version or not sure if the latest version, please simply press F5 on your keyboard to refresh the browser, refresh this page, so you can have the latest information, latest agenda, latest of today's conference. So, okay, you ready? Okay, Mr. Anand and Mr. Anand Chaturvedi, please, you may have the floor now. And delegates, don't forget to prepare your questions for later Q&A. See you guys later. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me at this wonderful event. My name is Anand Chaturvedi. I'm Vice Chairman of Uflex Industries. We are a global polymer manufacturer with roots in flexible packaging. And today I'm here to talk about a topic that I think all of us get to hear a lot about, but hopefully I can give you a little different perspective of this. Before we get into deep dive into the content of what I have to say, let's talk a little bit about what we are actually here to discuss. What we're here to discuss is quite simply a global crisis. The crisis is that plastic is amounting to be a very problematic substance for future generations. Plastic is looked upon in a very negative light, possibly the most negative light any material gets today. And its benefits and uses and advantages are ignored by society, even though plastic consumption and plastic waste are going up significantly. So put the phone on silent.
Yeah.
Plastic waste is going up significantly. What we are here to do is figure out how do we solve this problem. And just like any other problem, plastic waste, global plastic waste has two issues. One is a stock problem. What do I mean by the stock problem of plastics? The stock problem of plastics, quite simply, is the plastic that exists in every format, whether it's flexible packaging waste, whether it's injection molded waste, whether it's automotive parts, whether it's electronics and plastic electronics that get discarded and don't get recycled, which are a combination of plastic and metal, and sit in people's basements or sit on people's shelves unused for years. But these are all components of the stock of plastics, the stock of polymers that have built up over the course of human history since when these materials were invented. The second part of this whole aspect is the flow problem. What do I mean by the flow problem? The flow problem is new plastics that get created every day by manufacturers like ourselves and thousands, tens of thousands of global manufacturers that participate in this industry, which is an essential resource to serve food security globally, to make sure that products go from an inception creation stage safely to their final destinations and then safely to consumers' homes. And last but not least, it ensures global supply chain that works actively to supply products in different parts of the world with different conditions, but with the right packaging that allows that product to get there in a safe, consumable way, whether it's for food consumption or whether it's consuming a product like a cell phone or a computer. So polymers provide this essential service to the world, and that's the flow problem. The only way to solve the plastic crisis is to solve both problems. It's to solve the stock problem and the flow problem. And that's much of the same when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions or population, or if you see, global ecological lack of controls for animals and their sort of breeding. All these problems have the same basic component. There's a stock of emissions, and then there's a flow of emissions. There's a stock of population that exists on Earth, and then there's a flow of human population that's being added. There's a stock of herds of certain animals that exist in certain environments that cause that environment to be either a forest or a desert, and then there's a flow of those animals that come out as well. So all these global problems lead to the ecological disasters that we're facing today. But the good part about the plastics crisis is it's a solvable crisis. How do we solve it? Is we have to attack this problem from both sides, the stock and the flow. We go to my next slide, which will explain us how Uflex is addressing this problem. So if you look at how we came about this problem is we wanted to understand how do we get the flow of plastics to be part of the circular economy, while as doing things with the stock so that the stock gets reduced and essentially becomes a part of the flow. How we did this was by 4 components, which we call Project Plastic Fix. And the reason why we call this Project Plastic Fix is that projects start and projects end. And we believe the plastic problem will be resolved. It'll take time. It'll be resolved in the next 15, 20, 25, 30 years, whatever pace we decide to resolve it and whatever priority we give it. But it is a solvable problem. In why it is solvable is because you can do these technologies to effectively solve this problem exist today, and simply we need to put it into circulation. So let's talk about how we solve the stock problem. The stock problem can be solved by the first 3 aspects of Project Plastic Fix, which is pyrolysis, which most of you are aware of, which is chemical engineering to convert plastic waste into through an anaerobic method into fuel. Our method has no emissions, and we recycle all of our inputs and outputs for this particular method so that we have zero impact. It's a net zero process for us. Different companies do this in a different way, but that's the way we see the most effective way to do this. Pyrolysis really is something that's more valid for countries and nations that have an energy crisis or have a lack of energy infrastructure. This can be a novel solution to provide extra energy into those environments. The second part, which is really our main invention when it comes to this, is our form of MLP recycling waste, which is our mechanical recycling process. We actually won an award in Davos in 1995 for inventing this very novel method for recycling all kinds of plastic waste, but especially multi-layer plastic waste, which is notoriously hard to recycle. Our process, has an extensive amount of technology attached to it with a combination of sensors, infrared scanners. We're also deploying some, basic machine learning AI to help us sort. And of course, we have a series of cameras and other kind of gauges to make sure that this waste gets sorted and it becomes 10,000 different novel products, really whatever you would like to make from a plastic strength perspective. The third aspect, which is what we're very proud of, which is actually developed in this facility that I'm speaking from today, which is our facility in Kentucky, is our Celsius, or our 100% PCR post-consumer recycled waste content films. The novelty of this product is that we make the exact same product with very little wastage, very little waste to wealth.
We are facing some connection problems with the speaker industry. So let's wait for a while to to recover. Please pay attention. Stay tuned. And by the way, in the meantime, I've left a message in the chat box right now. I've heard that the great news, we have more prizes to come. So on the other hand, the reason is that I have to say thank you everyone for your support for downloading Siemens ebook first, and we still have slots left for you to grab your Grab vouchers, because the reason that we're receiving participants downloading the ebook worldwide, as Grab Taxi only operate in the Southeast Asia, so participants from Taiwan, United States, UAE, and other countries that had no Grab vouchers, and whoever had downloaded the Siemens ebook, we will email to you, and shortly that we will have alternative gift with the same value based on your country.
We're taking
so, which means that
delegates
from Southeast Asia country who have the Grab voucher system,
goes to the end consumer, and consumer uses it,
for you,
and it comes back to
great
us.
news for you.
And we
You can download the ebook right now and have more chance to get that.
We're taking product, we're making it, we're supplying it to the customer uses it.
Sorry.
Goes to the end consumer, and consumer uses it, and it comes.
Okay. Sorry for that. It seems that he's getting back already. So I'll let him to recover his connection. Okay. Thank you, delegates.
And it comes back to us, and we simply input it in again and again, seamlessly. And those are the three, I would say, solutions under Project Plastic Fix, which solve the stock problem of plastics. Now let's go to the flow problem. The flow problem is new plastic that's being made today. How do we solve that? And the way we came up with the solution was and those are the three, I would say, solutions under Project Plastic Fix, which solve the stock problem of plastics. Now let's go to the flow problem. The flow problem is new plastic that's being made today. How do we solve that? And the way we came up with the solution was, and a lot of other players, a lot of other companies are also doing this, which is we developed a bioenzyme that degrades essentially this plastic into biomass, basically sugar or glucose, and it's done in we can do it. Last study that we had about a 40% degradation rate in the first year, which leads to a sort of 2.5-year full 100% degradation cycle. We're actually cutting that down, and we're very confident we can bring it down to about 3 to 6 months if needed, or even lower, depending on, of course, what the customer wants. The key of this bioenzyme is it can be tailored to the product that you're packing in it. So obviously, if you're packing potato chips, they will have a much shorter, let's say, shelf life than, let's say, you are packing a charging wire for an electronic device, which, if it's packed in a plastic pouch, or it's the plastic pouch is within the paper box container, it needs to degrade in a certain different rate because it might sit on a certain shelf longer. That's how we are solving the plastic problem. Now let me go a little bit more into detail of some of these solutions. Let's go to the next slide. Our recycling solution is really our novel breakthrough, and you can see some of these products displayed. But our aim with this solution is very, very simple. Our aim is not so much, we don't want to convert into a plastic recycling company. We are a material science polymer manufacturer. And for us, we want to stay very, very close to our core competency, which is making new materials for the earth. Our aim for this is to encourage other entrepreneurs who can see an opportunity that today is completely wasted, which is essentially plastic that's used once, single-use plastic, or even multi-use plastic, and then it's discarded. We want to encourage entrepreneurs, as many as we can, to get into this recycling business and create products that come out of recycled plastic resin with pride, and which are tailored to their local economies. So, obviously, if you are living in, a cold environment, you will not have much use for recycled plastic making fans. But you might have a use for recycled plastic making, heaters, or some kind of mesh coil construction material for insulation. You might, need it for being a wind stopper under doors. So obviously it applies very, very distinctly locally, and that's where the entrepreneurship part comes into this, because the entrepreneur will have that hold of local knowledge, will have that hold of local trends that they can tap into. And if if the last couple of years have proven anything, the pandemic has proven that we live in a globally more local world, and the world is not as flat as previously perceived. So having a local understanding and being a local manufacturer matters, especially in today's day and age, where logistics are probably one of the most difficult things to deal with. Next slide. Our pyrolysis solution is a very novel solution which uses basically multi-layer plastic waste or any kind of plastic waste and then creates energy out of it. We've used it to create all kinds of different liquids, including low-end diesel products, and these are used to then power electricity and power factories. In fact, some of our factories do run on this kind of setup where they're using the waste that's not only being produced by them, but also coming in greater and greater quantities from the outside environment. And here you can see that in both these solutions, you're solving the stock problem. If you look at pyrolysis or you look at recycling, which is the last slide back, last slide back, So if you look at that, both these solutions are solving the stock problem, the problem that is there today. That's what we're trying to solve. And that's a very effective way of solving it. Next slide, and next slide. Here we have our Aeroflex product, which is our 100% PCR, post-consumer recycled waste product. And again, the novelty in this product is not only that it is the world's only Kingfisher rated, certified, 100% recycled product, but the beauty of this product is that it runs seamlessly like its fossil fuel counterpart. And that's very important. A lot of times when you are dealing with plastic waste solutions, if they involve a significant change when it comes to how your customers are using this material on their machines, if they're using, if they have to change their temperature or pressure parameters, if they have to change their stretching ratio parameters, if they have to change any kind of ink, adhesive, or any kind of change in their production cycles, will cause great pain, and bigger than that, will cause great resistance when it comes to any kind of solution being successful. We took that into account. We made this product as seamless and as foolproof as possible, so that there is very little chance of this polymer behaving in any other way other than a normal virgin grade resin. And that was what the key was in this solution. I'd be happy to tell you this was the only, we have done a few case studies for this. Most of them are all very easily searchable online. The biggest thing we've done is with a label manufacturer called UPM. And we've never had a situation, at least as far as I know, where I have actually got customer orders when I'm running trials or running an experiment for a material. But this was such a novel product that for the first time ever, I could see customers were interested in buying the very first batch that came out. And that's a testament to where the world is headed, where the plastic problem is being actively solved from not only a social and a sort of future generation consumer perspective, but companies today are solving this problem for themselves so that they can have an effective, environmentally sustainable green future. And this product is a testament to that. Next slide, please. And then last but not least, we talk about sustainable materials. There's many different kinds of sustainable materials that we've developed, which are listed here, like our paper-based tubes, which are our makeup tubes, or water-based printing inks, our cylinders, our solvent-free inks. It's not only solving the material problem, it's also solving the materials that go with the base material. So if plastic is the base material, yes, you can solve the plastic problem. But if you're using an adhesive that's harmful, or that's high in emissions, or is even using layers of plastic, well, you have to get away from that. You have to get away from using that and going towards a water-based solution that can be easily treated, and the water can be recycled and reused. I mean, for us, we're looking at this problem holistically, from beginning to end. So for example, our plant in Mexico that is going to make PCR resin has a very, very complex and effective water recycling strategy, because we'll be washing, the incoming waste, cleaning it, sorting it, and making PCR film, Aeroflex film out of it. But one of the things that we paid close attention to was how are we going to make sure that the water we take into the facility is, and the water that's going out of that facility is as good as the water that we're taking into the facility. And it was a very, I would say, a complex challenge to do that. But we do have solutions now where we have a treatment center and the right technology to be able to do that. Most of the time when you visit recycling facilities, you'll see a lot of water wastage. And that's us, that's then setting up for the next problem. You solve the plastic problem, and then you're consuming 6 times more water than you did 10 years ago. Now you have a new problem to solve, and that's not what we're going for. Next slide, please. And the last is our bioenzyme problem. Now here is, or a bioenzyme solution. Here is our novel solution that takes into account how do we solve the flow problem. The flow problem is plastic that's made today, new today, and consumed today. So every bit of plastic that you consume today, whether it was the little paste, toothpaste tube that you used in the morning for your toothbrush, or whatever container your lunch came out of, whatever container your dinner came out of, that cup of coffee that you had from a barista, which used some kind of plastic, whether it's, even if you're not using it, you're not touching it. Most of the time, most restaurants have things delivered in large bulk plastic bags. So there is an element of plastic there, even if we don't see it. How do we solve this problem? Again, to solve this problem, the best way to do it is to make it as less effort from the end consumer as possible. A lot of times in our culture, and especially in the way the plastic problem is being solved, we tend to put a lot of emphasis on the end consumer solving this problem, the end consumer sorting out plastic and taking out 2 hours of their week to sort out plastic, and making sure that everything is in the right bins and everything gets deposited in the right place. Truth be told is, if you look at global recycling rates, I think Sweden has the highest recycling rate at about 32%. I think maybe it's gone up a little bit since the last time the survey was done. The survey skipped a year in the pandemic. The US has an average recycling rate of 8 to 12%. So you can see most consumers are not willing to put in this effort. There are some consumers that will, and we respect them, and they are leading the way forward. But even in places like Europe, where waste will not be picked up unless it's properly sorted, more times than less, mistakes are made because also consumers simply don't know what polymer is what, and what those labels and those triangles in the back of packaging means, right? So how do we make this seamless that if a plastic product does end up in the waste stream, and God forbid gets thrown out in the road, or or it's consumed and discarded in a waste paper basket that no one cleans out for a year, how do we make sure that that does not add to the stock problem? And that's our biodegradable solution. Our biodegradable solution will, in normal soil deterioration conditions, soil biodegradable conditions, will, as soon as it's come in the right element with the right environment, will start breaking down the molecular chains and will convert it back into completely harmless components. Another differentiator that we have is our Viome process, which is our evolution of plastic recycling and plastic waste, where we're using, taking traditional properties of film and enhancing it to use less plastic, but while giving it more strength, more barrier, and a higher yield. This is a novel solution that will be revealed in the next few months to come. And it's a very, very promising next generation technology that we've been working on. You can see all the other initiatives that we're doing to solve this problem. But in conclusion, I'd like to say that we all must remember that the plastic crisis, the plastic problem, the plastic demise that is leading to us worrying that we are going to convert this planet into a waste pile is not the truth. There are technologies that exist today that can solve the plastic crisis. These technologies are live, they are usable, they are scalable, and they are affordable. If you look at the cost benefit of using these resins, eventually this will actually become, these novel technologies will become cheaper and more easy to use than even fossil fuel-based polymers that we are consuming today. So all these technologies exist today, and they are designed from the get-go to be scalable, to be a global solution provider. So the planet will not be covered in waste, especially plastic waste, but really it's up to the effort that we put today in the planet. And my mother always called me an optimist, so I will say that I'm optimistic about us coming together and solving this problem as a society, as human beings, and as someone that wants to leave a good legacy for future generations to come, where the solutions and the novel ideas we provided led to a better future for them, rather than the future that is outlined today. Last slide. That's my presentation. I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. And I would be happy to take any questions through the forum. My email, I'm sure, is in the speaker list. Thank you very much.
Delegates, as the speaker mentioned at the end of his presentation, due to the connection, and we have really far distance between us, so he will not take live questions in the chat room. So anyway, he showed his contact email. I will also copy them later and post it in the chat box as well, or my little assistant can do that for me. So delegates, he welcomed all the questions for the discussions to him later after this conference. So don't worry about that. If you want to, you can also fulfill by filling your questions within our feedback form. So answer your feedback form before you go, okay? So delegates, I would like to say thank you for everyone joining our conference today. I have some more things to remind you that. First is that I would like to remind everyone that a while ago during our connection problem, I said that we have more slots for the downloading ebook price, right? So especially if you are from Southeast Asia countries, please go to the ebook, just simply filling your name, your contact information and email, right? Simply download the ebook, and also we will send you the price as the Grab food and taxi voucher, I think, because we don't have Grab in Taiwan. However, we will find our partners in Southeast Asia countries and send you the Grab vouchers. And thank you all again for all our guest speakers who have taken the time to share their expertise and insights on the topic flexible packaging manufacturing. I hope that all of you have learned from the interesting presentations and from the exchange of ideas. Remember, our main target here on the Ringer event platform today is to have the great chance to networking with all the other delegates, also the speakers as well. Just like Dario a while ago was in the chat box talking to delegates, right? Remember, not only email them, you can also leave your comment. You leave your text in the chat box so delegates and other speakers can see it too and reply to that too. If you have any further questions, please contact our speakers by email or simply just email us, and we will forward those questions to them as well. And let me remind you again, download the ebook, okay? Finally, please share your thoughts with us by filling out the feedback form from the left-hand side. There's a left-hand side feedback form, right? With the color. So alternatively, you can use the URL I am sending in the chat box right now. We want to improve our events for you by hearing your ideas for topics, platforms, industry, and so on. Whatever you want to say to us, welcome, fill in the feedback form. We will also hold the physical and hybrid events once the pandemic situation has stabilized. So please stay tuned with us and look forward to it. Once again, Ringer Events would like to thank all the participants who attended this event. We hope that you will join us in our future events and take active part in the discussion as well. Thank you and have a nice day.
We provide a professional, customized consulting service for diversified international market, and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers, and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, we aim to prove the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, England is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that required manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, increase life, and repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator with a partner in the market for our customers.
What's one of the main drivers of change in the manufacturing industry? It's us, consumers. 63% of us want to have new products faster. 94% regularly search for alternatives. 61% of us are willing to pay more for higher quality. 74% have become more price sensitive. Another 60% want more sustainability. Consumers can configure and order virtually anything online at the touch of a button. New products, faster, more personalized. Companies all over the world are challenged to keep up. From personalized products to mass-producing one-off items with consistently high quality and speed. Today's consumers are looking for a tailored experience from companies who are engaged socially, environmentally, and deliver more than just a product. To make it happen with precision and agility, a company must get product development, automated production processes, and digitalization to work hand in hand. Companies need a true digital enterprise. Only by combining processing, using and continuously optimizing virtual and actual information can you come up with something new, something better, and make consumers' individual dreams a reality. Siemens Digital Industry Software, where today meets tomorrow.
We provide a professional, customized consulting service for diversified international market, and can design the equipment based on the material provided by customers, and run the final testing to ensure the quality reach the requirement before shipment. Then, our professional delivery team will come to the site to assist customers in assemble, adjustment, and testing. Education and training will also be properly arranged to guide the customer's teams in correct operation and maintenance procedure. In addition to superb after-sales service, we aim to prove the durability of our product. In general, the lifespan of the equipment depends on good manufacturer's quality. Facing the global web of digital automation, Lincoln is in a leading position. It's not only improved the manufacturing process that required manual corrections in the past, but also introduced an automation systems to control temperature, pressure, equipment monitoring, equipment life, and the repair. We are not only a supplier, but also a cooperator in the partner in the market for our customers.